is the story of Dr. Know-All, who made success out of 3 mistakes. Once upon a time, there was a poor peasant named Fish, who drove 2 oxen with a load of wood to town and sold the wood to a doctor for $2. When the money was being counted out to poor Fish, he noticed that the doctor lived well and had many servants. So the peasant asked if he, too, might learn to be a doctor.
Aye, that can be done very easily. What must I do?
Asked Fish.
Well, in the first place,
answered the other,
buy yourself a book of the ABCs. In the second, turn your cart and your 2 oxen into money and get yourself some clothes and a few bottles of medicine. Thirdly, have a sign painted with the words, I am Dr. Know-All, and nail it over the door to your house.
The peasant did everything that he had been told to do. He doctored a few people who were ill and a few people who became ill. But he was still a poor man who had no servants. Then one day, at the other end of the country in which he lived, a rich and great nobleman had some money stolen. The nobleman's neighbors told the great man about Dr. Know-All and that he would know how to find the money. So, the nobleman had horses harnessed to his carriage and drove as fast as he could to the village where the make-believe doctor did his make-believe doctoring. The great lord stopped his carriage at the house of poor peasant Fish and asked if he were indeed the famous Dr. Know-All. The sham doctor said yes, he was the man.
Then come with me, said the nobleman, and help me recover my stolen money.
Dr. Know-All agreed to go if his wife, Greta, could go too. The nobleman was willing. The doctor and his wife climbed into the carriage, and they all drove away together.
Tonight,
whispered Fish to his wife,
you will see as many servants as there are pills in my bottles.
They came at dinner time to the castle and left the carriage to have dinner in the great hall. When the first servant came in with a dish of wonderful food, the peasant nudged his wife and said,
Greta, that is the first one.
Meaning that was the servant who brought the first dish. The servant, however, thought he intended by that to say, that is the first thief, and as he really was one of the thieves, he was frightened out of his wits and said to his comrade outside,
That doctor knows all. He said I was the first one.
When the second servant went into the dining hall, the peasant nudged his wife and said,
Grady, that is the second.
And this waiter also ran in fright from the room. The third servant fared no better, for the peasant said again,
Grady, that is the third.
Outside the door, the fourth stealing servant said, Wait, comrades, this man is dangerous. We must make him look like a fool in the eyes of our master. So saying, the fourth carried in a covered dish containing a baked whitefish and asked the nobleman to test the doctor's knowledge by having him tell just what was under the cover. The doctor looked at the covered dish, had no idea what was in it, and cried out,
Alas, poor fish.
When the nobleman heard that, he shouted,
There, this man knows everything, and he knows who has stolen my money.
At this, the servants were terribly worried. They winked at the doctor and beckoned him to come out with them. When he was outside, all four confessed that they had stolen the money and that they were willing to give it back. They led him to the spot where it was hidden. So, the nobleman got back his wealth, and because of his wonderful wisdom, Dr. Know-All received a large reward, became a very famous man, and had many, many servants of his own.